Welcome back to the Book Breathing Bitch Queens podcast. This is Sam.
And I'm Allie, and this week we're jumping into chapter 19. In this chapter, we finally get some painting with Feyre. The paints get here, she's moved, she's excited, she paints all day. And then we get maybe some interesting, sudden reflection about why doesn't my family miss me? How could I forget them? Blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, the infamous poem reading, Tamlin's poems that he wrote with her, words that she didn't know how to read. And then we get the, the little confrontation between her and Tamlin where they're discussing, she says she notices like he feels wild and he gives some backstory and she's connecting with him because Nesta called her a half-wild beast, and they have this nice little moment. And then we get some talk about calumny, which is coming in the next couple of chapters. And then, of course, the ending with the Attor.
Yes.
And yeah, so very interesting chapter. A lot in here.
Yeah, so it's 15 pages, which I think is the longest chapter so far in the book. Kind of a roller coaster of a chapter that we get lots of like ups and downs and some weird emotional. The reflection area I had some thoughts on. Tamlin's version of events is a fun deep dive that we'll get to. And some of his word choices are really interesting. And I have lots of thoughts. I don't have lots of thoughts. I have a few big thoughts about the poetry reading.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah.
I also am such a snarky little bitch on this first page. One, I highlighted Rose Scented Breeze because Rose's book, right? It's all the thing. It's in the title, yada yada yada. But then the next line, so this is after her paints have shown up and he's like cleaned up the room, right? The gallery room or whatever. And it says, he done all of this for me as if I would have cared about the cobwebs and dust. And I wrote, he had his servants do it. He did no things. Again, Tamlin doing no things and taking the credit for it. Like, why do this for me? How hard is it to be like, hey, Alice, get a couple of gals and get that cleaned up? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, that is probably what he's like. But I mean, I thought it was kind of interesting. Like, how dirty could it be that he had to like? How bad was it? Was it like covered in blood? Did you kill someone there? Like, what is in there that it seems weird. Like,
this is not at all in the story. So this is all just me being a fucking asshole. But
love it.
What if he had one of his little like tamtrins? No.
Tamtrins, yes.
Tamtrins. If he had one of his tamtrins in that room, and so everything's broken and in pieces, and he was just like, fuck it, and left it, just like he did his office in the next book. And so he's like, I gotta clean it up. And she's like, I'm not worried about cobwebs. He's like, baby girl, it's not cobwebs in there. I fucked it up.
Yeah, maybe it's just his like when he's in a bad mood, he just goes in there and he's just been wrecking it for 5 centuries, and it's just like
watch The Beauty and the Beast. So now this is what I'm thinking. Do you remember the film at all?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes you say something, I'm like, oh yeah.
So there's like when she's in the castle the first time and he's like giving her the ground rules and he's like, you can't go to the West Wing. And she's like, what's in the West Wing? And he's like, you can't go there. And then of course she goes there and everything's thrashed and like there's claw marks through his like human picture and then like right, it's a fucking shit show in there.
That is this thing.
Pictures on the wall. The gallery is thrashed where the rose is at. And now we have Rose Scented Breeze from a gallery that he had to clean up.
That is actually.
And
it's a gallery that in the movie?
Well, there's a bunch of pictures that have been pulled off the wall. So like it's I mean it's a kids movie. No one was like, and then Belle walked into the gallery, like whatever. But rewatching it, I'm like, that's a fucking. It's not the library. The library's pristine and beautiful, and that's how he wins her over. But the gallery is scary.
That is so funny.
Shit, I was gonna say something else.
Cleaning up.
Oh, because she said doesn't she say like he took her about like through a bunch of places that she like to a wing, yeah, a wing of the house I'd never been to. He took her to the West Wing. That's it. I figured you out, SJM.
That
That's
is
what that is.
so funny.
Instead of saying you can't go to the West Wing, he just said, "Let me clean it up first."
That's fun. See, I actually thought about later on. She says like, but whenever I thought of the Western Woods, and then just now when you said West Wing, I was like, oh, maybe that's the version. But anyway, because that's where the monsters are. But she says something like that in this, and I was because our hybrid theory is about the West, and I was like, anyway, it's like further down, but yeah, that is funny. I did not connect all
This
those
is a
things.
gallery. I'm looking at pictures. I'm gonna send this shit to you.
Oh, from the movie?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Okay. This is I'll, it's a gallery. There's like 14 pictures on the wall. There's big credenzas. There's like big
that's so funny.
statues. There's like a table that's knocked over that she picks up, and like all of the pictures have been like scratched off the wall in like his beast mode.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, it's so funny. It is. It's almost like I almost said it really is a retelling.
I mean, that's what she set out for it to be, a retelling.
I know, but that's why it's so funny. Like I don't know why it surprises me. Yeah, the why do this for me? I actually thought I wasn't thinking so much about like the fact that he didn't do anything. I was just like, it's not that big of a deal. Like he just cleaned up some stuff, and it's not like it's not like he like bought you I don't know, it just didn't seem like that grand of a gesture, and it seemed like she was overly like amazed by it.
Well, and I think she's looking at it from two different perspectives, right? Like either like imagine when you have guests over at your house, right? And
Hmm.
you clean your house spotless for your guests, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming maybe that the guests are like, you really didn't have to clean up for me. Like it's fine. Like I it's not a big deal. When in reality it's like I didn't clean up for you. I don't want you to see how I really live.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking slob and I want you to be comfortable in my home, so I decided to hide all of my slobbery.
Yes.
Um and so I think that that's where we're coming from, where we're like, this isn't a grand gesture. Like it's his ego. He's like he
Hmm.
wants the place to be clean, like just like when you have guests over, you want your place to be clean because you don't want people to think you're a fucking pig. Where
Yeah.
she's seeing it as like, oh, you didn't have to clean up for me at all, and he's like, I mean, I
Yeah, I was
did
just like,
because
as if
I
she's
don't
some
want you to
honored
see the
guest.
beast that I really am.
Hmm. That's funny. But yeah, the sentence is too, all this he done this for me.
He had his servants do it, so relax.
Hmm.
Even if he did do it for you, motherfucker was not in there with his own broom or whatever the fuck he needs to use to clean it up.
Also, it's been a long time since there was anyone here who appreciated these things.
Hmm.
Who appreciated these things?
His mom and dad and Psycho
That's it.
brothers, maybe.
Psycho Brothers love some art.
Yeah, I mean, maybe his mom,
Yeah, I don't know. I got kind of girlfriend vibes.
maybe Rhys sister,
Reese and sister.
maybe
Yeah,
Amarantha.
maybe Ianthe when they fucked 2 centuries ago.
Did they?
No, I don't know.
Oh,
I could see it. I'm just trying to think. Like, who is Tamlin talking about? Maybe it's just saying that, you know. But I tend to think like it kind of seems like pointed.
maybe he used to appreciate them, and then he had his tamtrin, and
Wow, so deep. Yeah,
like maybe he was like, I used to come here with my mom and we used to, this was our little safe
yeah.
place. And then when she died, I fucking lost my shit and I destroyed the room. And it's been like that ever since because I can't go in there because it hurts. Again, I'm extrapolating and making up a backstory because I'm psychotic, but just saying,
Same.
it could happen.
I'd be doing that. I'd be doing that. My next thing is on the next page. It's someone had painted through eyes like mine.
Hmm.
And then she talks okay, so she's talking about I think human and fae painters.
Hmm.
So it's interesting that she can tell. I guess maybe just because they're using colors that she doesn't recognize. Maybe that's what she kind of says. But I thought it was interesting that she says she doesn't say a human painter. I could tell, blah blah blah. Which I guess maybe that's just not as pretty or eloquent.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that she's like that person paints like me, and that
Hmm.
person's some freak I don't understand. Like I don't know.
I think that this is more, and again, I read it as, like, more of, like, the artist kind of the way that
Mm,
artists talk. They paint the world with eyes like mine, like, they see the world the way that I see it, and the colors and the schemes and the lighting that I how I would make those
yeah.
choices. That's kind of where
Yeah.
I went more,
We
like,
just different
artsy with it.
artists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went more
Well,
artsy
I
with
think
it.
that's definitely the direct interpretation as well,
Yeah.
too.
But I do
Yeah.
think that it also is like, "'Kay, but we're living in this space." I think your interpretation is also like, well, so do they have human artists art on the wall and
Yeah.
Fey art? Like, who created these images over the centuries and how old are some of these pictures? Because some of these pictures theoretically could be over 500 years old and
Painted
be
by human
painted by
slaves.
humans. Yeah, that's gross. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because well, yeah, I just was thinking about the human thing because like at first I was like, okay, you're an artist, you're recognizing your kind, whatever. And then it said a portal into the mind of a creature so unlike me, and yet like she's recognizing the artist's self in the creature so unlike her, the fae who painted. So that's kind of why. But because I was also like, how does she know? I guess it's maybe just the colors. I was like, how is she sensing this from a painting that this is a creature so unlike her? But yeah, maybe it's just simply like just so, or maybe it's just an artist who thinks so differently, but creature just was interesting to me there. But yeah, I do wonder if it's like uh who used to be the painter, like is Tamlin an art collector and these are just people in the world who painted, or did he paint, or did his mom paint, or does
Yeah,
somebody he know
I
paint?
find it very strange that she doesn't ask who painted them. I feel like that
Yeah,
would be my question, like, where did you
like
like, it
did you
where did you
buy
where did you
these,
get all
like
these? Like,
yeah.
what's the art scene in Prythian, my man? I mean, we learned about the
Yeah,
rainbow later, but, like,
yeah, he doesn't know about that.
no, he does not. So yeah, so it's just like, and then, like, started to ask, like, who are like, there's gotta be people in the pictures, right? Like, are these your ancestors? Like,
He says, "I never knew that humans were capable of
that's what
feeling things,"
no,
right after.
that's what I highlighted was I never knew that humans were capable of, and then the dot dot dot. And this is where I started to think it was maybe not just the artist eyes thing, but on closer to what you're saying, where like Feyre is something, because she's right. Like some of them had painted with like things like my eyes, right? Whatever. And then
Mm.
some that were creatures so unlike me, yet looked at its work and understood and felt and cared. And so I'm wondering if he's saying, I never knew humans could understand or appreciate Fey art. How do you see it?
Yeah, because I guess because he's just responding to her, like, staring and being in awe type
Yes, but I'm
thing.
wondering if she's supposed to be glamored or blind to some of the things she's looking at. And he's like, I didn't realize that humans
Mm.
could. And then he stops. That humans were able to. Maybe she's able to see a depth to the pictures that human eyes would not actually be able to see. And the
That
fact
is
that
interesting.
she's so incredibly moved by this that he's
Yeah, at first I thought he was just being
like the
racist, like, "Didn't know you could love art."
sure, but, like, also, like, the right, he has to has to, quote, unquote, "has to kiss her for her to see all of the things," right? He has to
Oh,
lower
yeah.
his own glamour to let his true fucking inner bullshit shine, right?
Yeah.
So, like, maybe there's something about the art that also has that, like, human eyes are not really capable of seeing the full image, right?
That's interesting.
She
Artist
can't hear
paintings
the
saying that.
song of the willow. Why would she
True.
like, maybe there's aspects of it that it would be, like, dulled or something, like, like, I don't know, like how we look at space, right? We look in the sky and it's all black and dark, but then you put infrared in there and all of a sudden it's all colorful or whatever. Again, I'm not a scientist, don't come for me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah,
There's
like,
stuff.
if you could see all spectrums of light in space, space is bright and brilliant and gorgeous and colorful. But we can't because we have human eyes. So what if the same aspect applies to Fey art? That if you can see with Fey eyes, it's bright and beautiful and brilliant and full of color, but with human eyes, it's dull. And now he's
Yeah.
like, I didn't know that humans could
Yeah. Well,
could what,
okay.
Tammy? Could what? Could feel,
Well,
you
and
fucking
it's
asshole? No.
If some of it is human art, then that wouldn't really make sense. But if it's all Fey art and she's simply responding to it, then
Yeah.
he has a weird ass view of humans, and you didn't know they could
Yeah.
like art. But yeah, if he's saying I didn't know you will be able to see through the glamour that's on these paintings,
Yeah.
that mm, that is interesting. I was just like,
Sorry, I
you're
don't
a
know how
douche.
I just came up with, like, the space reference, but yeah, that kinda works.
I think yeah, because I think you can't see like everything that's in space unless you use certain tools and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So I think
her
the same
tools
thing.
are her Fey blood that's in her veins.
Exactly.
Also, think he stood by the door, his head cocked in that animalistic way. I don't know, I just thought it was interesting. Like she's looking at this art, admiring it, and she looks at him and she thinks animal. Like
Well, and also
juxtaposed against the art, she's like, "You're, you're a beast.
I mean, that's funny.
You're like
But
uncivilized."
also, he's looking at her very like, it's not I don't I think it's more than just, like, I didn't realize that humans could be moved by this kinda stuff. I think she's seeing something that she shouldn't, and that's why he's like,
Oh, well, when it says animalistic, I think of like this, like, predatory gaze type of like he's looking at her like kind of like that, or like,
"You think predatory gaze?" I think the dog goes
yes. Oh, okay,
like,
okay.
every time it was, like, the animalistic, I'm like, "Oh, you mean when, like, the pug goes, 'Meow'?"
That's so funny. Yeah. No,
Like, he
because when he
tips
says
his
head
head and
cocked, that's like such a little poodle thing.
yes, that's what I'm saying. Every time they're like, "And then his head tilted in an animalistic way," I'm like, "Oh, that's a dog." He just said, "What?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's because she says in that animalistic way that sounds like, you know,
Well, yeah,
more
because she keeps
interesting
getting
if you
caught in her
like.
loins in this chapter, yeah.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Her core
But
keeps going melty.
I think he's probably also like I can also picture the scene because I feel like I've seen it in 1,000 rom-coms where the guy shows the girl the thing that she loves and she's so excited, and then he watches her from like slits behind and is just enjoying her enjoy something, and then she looks back and he's all like, "Let's fuck now," and
Yeah.
like he's like got the seductive eyes, so I could just see it. Um, and I know that he's like
Yeah.
he's trying to put it on, so I
Yeah.
was like, oh, he's fine. He's like trying to look like
Oh,
he's
for sure. For
yeah.
sure.
That's also yeah. Um,
And then she just hangs out in this room for hours.
I know. I was
She
like,
wasn't even painting. She didn't even have her paints yet.
she got drunk on art instead.
She just walked around and said, "It's so pretty."
Yeah, I was like, and I was interested by that. Maybe, yeah,
I get it, but also, like, how big is this gallery too? Like, that you
I
could spend hours there?
know.
Like, don't get me wrong, there's been paintings and pieces of art that I've been moved by, but I don't know that I could sit for hours, but I also have
Yeah,
ADHD, so who knows?
I think
I
it's
don't
just
think
like,
Feyre has ADHD. I think
yeah.
her
I mean,
executive function skills are pretty good.
they're fine. Yeah, I just think it was just meant like to me it took me out of the story a bit. I was like,
Mhm.
you need to show that she's enjoying her life here, that she's loved, that she's fully converted. She not only has is okay with being here, she's actually loving it, and this is what this scene's about, and it's trying to show also like her moving into those higher tiers of
Mhm.
like the only thing she cares about, the only thing she thought about today was art, and it is such a high tier thing, and it's so fulfilling, and so
I think this is also why she falls in love with Tamlin, right?
yes,
Her biggest desire in life was live with her
paint all
dad,
day.
to live with her dad and be able to have enough time and money to paint.
Yeah,
Not
and
only
here
does
she's her
Tamlin give
wildest dreams
her
came
yeah,
true.
not only does Tamlin give her all the time and money to paint, but then he shows her the most beautiful art she's ever seen. So he takes her wild like her biggest dream and turns
And
it
upped
into
it.
a wild imagination.
Yeah.
And then just walks out of the room, was like, "Stay as long as you want, like, stay as long as you like, babe."
Yeah,
And
it
so
is,
she's
like
just
yeah.
like, "Done, love him, thank you." Now don't get me wrong, would I at 19 have fallen in love with a dude who gave me a fucking library? You bet your bottom dollar I fell in love with the Tamlin and I didn't even get a fucking library. So,
Yeah.
I
They're
get
just, like,
it.
your number one desire, you're like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Yeah, "Oh, I'm sorry, you took me out of an unsafe place and you gave me a safe place to live and told me I was pretty?" Yeah. I
Mhm.
that's exactly how I ended up where I was with a Tamlin.
Yup. Yeah, but yeah, I just like Okay, we get it. You like it.
Yeah.
That's how I felt at the end of that scene.
I think that there's a great case for her being a shit artist. Again,
I know.
this
She's
next
like, it doesn't look good. No one
yeah,
can see.
weeks passed. She's been doing nothing but painting and practicing for weeks, and most of it
Yeah.
is awful and useless. Don't get me wrong, I
I
mean, like,
I
it takes years to hone your craft, but, like,
Mhm.
weeks, and she's like, "All of it sucks. Every
Well,
fucking bit of it." Do you think he winnows in there after like, at night and is just like,
definitely.
"What is this hot fucking garbage? She's supposed to break curses? She can't even paint a flower with the proper lighting."
Yeah.
I fucking hate this next like, this line that I highlighted, "His safe return was enough." I just this whole little, like
That is my next thing.
but then there were
He
days when
never gave me details, and I didn't presume to ask about
yeah.
them.
But then
Like,
there were days when
presume!
Tamlin was called away and faced the latest threat to the borders. Even painting couldn't distract me until he returned, covered in blood that wasn't his own. Sometimes in his beast form, sometimes as the High Lord. I never asked any questions. His safe return was enough. Ah, Feyre, annoying. Yeah, it's gross.
Mhm.
Really, you don't ask
Yeah.
any fucking. But that's what the Suriel
That's
said.
what he
Stop asking.
likes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what the Suriel told her. Stop asking questions, bitch. It'll be fine.
Just stay. Yeah, I also think it's interesting, like, for Tamlin, all she cares about is his safety. It's almost like in her mind, he's in the bottom tiers,
Hmm.
like, of that pyramid. Like, she's like, it only matters that he's safe.
Yes,
Like, and it's interesting to like,
she
you
doesn't.
like have a crush on someone, you usually care about more than just are they safe?
I don't think
I don't
she
know.
knows how to care for more though, because it was never she
Yeah.
doesn't know what to like, she doesn't know what she doesn't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she doesn't know what to hope for him because all she knows is survival. So she
Yeah.
doesn't know to hope for friendship and a higher purpose or,
Yeah.
what are your hopes and dreams? Those aren't questions she would even ask. What are your hopes and dreams? I hope I don't fucking starve to death, you psycho.
Mhm.
Um, and so I think part
Yeah.
of that is that she just doesn't yeah, and then also part of it, like the not asking, I think part of that is like, well, when I went into the woods and had to kill to feed my family, I don't necessarily want them to ask me what I
Yeah.
did. Like, you're fed. Don't worry about it. I don't want you to one, I don't want to relive it, and two, I don't want you to have to bear it with me.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I think that this is more of like a
Yeah.
this is her this speaks more about, I guess, her hangups.
It's still giving me the ick, but yes,
Yes.
I understand why she does it. It just I'm just like,
Oh, yeah, it gives me the ick
I don't
too, for
know.
sure.
Yeah, I don't presume to ask. Like, whatever.
I'm, like, rereading this, and I just keep being like, "Wow, we all really fell in love with Tamlin with her," and I'm just, like, coming back to it again, knowing where it goes, like, hindsight, right, is 2020 or whatever,
Mhm.
but it's just so funny, but, like, even from a writing style, I'm like, "Fuck, this got us to still fall for this guy," and it's so wishy-washy, and it's so not great, and it's not
Mhm.
deep at all, and so it's just I don't know, one, I take away it as, like, a writer perspective where I'm like, "Oh, I really don't have to do really hard work. I
Yeah.
can get readers to fall in love with a character even if I'm not great at." Not saying that this is not great. I'm just saying that, like
Yeah. No, I don't think it is.
sure, but, like and I
I
don't
think
wanna
you
like,
can enjoy things that aren't great, like in all senses. Yeah.
yes, but, like, this is not the great love story, right? Like, we fall in
Yeah.
love with Rhys, it makes sense. We get chapter 54, and it's deep, and it's personal, and it's lovely,
Yeah.
and it's tear-jerky and all the things. We fell in love with Tamlin, and we got cleaning rooms and not talking about where you're going.
Yeah.
And
And
so
I think a lot of that comes from like the tension actually that
yeah,
retroactively feels creepy. Um,
yes.
but
But
it's
it also is a little bit like a breath of fresh air as someone who wants to write in this genre to be like, "Oh,
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be profound. I just have to tell the readers they need to love the guy, and they will."
Yeah.
Not that readers
Yeah.
aren't smart. Here we are being readers. I do think that there is a clever
Yeah.
sort of foreshadowing. I think there's a cleverness
Oh
to
yeah.
this next so there's
Oh yes, yes.
so where it says, "And though my dreams continued to be plagued by the deaths I'd witnessed, the deaths I'd caused, and that horrible pale woman ripping me to shreds, all watched over by shadows I couldn't quite glimpse." Slowly I stopped being so afraid. Stay with the High Lord, you'll be safe. So I did. That's clever writing.
Yes. The
Because one,
shadow. Yes.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
because already you're giving us like the Amarantha nightmares, right? You're giving me the
Mhm.
shadow. We're getting Rhys on the page, right? Which like coming back to it and you're like, fuck yeah, that's so cool, whatever. Because like you're not really supposed to get that that's what this is.
No, but you know there's something. You're like, what's this
Yeah,
mystery?
because you actually don't get this until the second book when we start to realize like he's been having dreams and all the bullshit, right?
Yeah.
But like not only is this foreshadowing in and of itself, so the dreams and the horrible pale woman all watched over by the shadow, that's foreshadowing in and of itself. Cute. But we get a double foreshadow because the immediate line after that is what the Suriel told her. So not only are we getting a foreshadow of like Amarantha and Rhys and this connection, but
hmm
also that who the Suriel was talking about was not Tamlin.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
it's very clever
It's
that
the
those 2 are,
order.
yes, that those 2
hmm
are together.
Well, and it's also like by a shadow I could not glimpse, and then the M dash there. It's funny people
Mhm.
roast her M dashes, but the M dash there. She goes, the shadow I couldn't glimpse. I slowly stopped being afraid. That those things are connected. The shadows there. I stopped
Mhm.
being afraid,
Yeah.
and then yes, and then of course like that's the real High Lord you're supposed to stay with. You are connecting those
Yeah.
dots. But yes, I
Yeah.
think that's yeah, the one, we just I'm gonna cut it out, but we're trusting Isham, but this is where this is good, this is hard.
Yeah.
Now this is also not something you do on a first draft. She probably did this in her fifth draft, her fourth
Yeah.
draft, or when she was pretty much done with this and started writing the next one, she goes, oh, like
Well,
she could have
and
been
I
far
think
along
there
in the
was,
process.
well, yeah, and I suspect, right, that there was an interview, but anyways, I saw somewhere that it was like Rhys
Mhm.
was supposed to be a villain, and then that changed as she began to write
He
it, or
actually was.
that's what I read somewhere. Now, again,
Oh.
I did not read that from her mouth, but it was like
Mm,
Sarah Mass has said, right? And again,
got it.
everyone keeps putting words into her mouth that don't exist,
Yeah.
but right, that like there's a theory or whatever. There's some information out there that says that Rhys was supposed to be more of a villainous character, and then that changed as his character. So like, who knows what Rhys looks like first draft, even in her mind, right?
Mm,
Um, Clearly that gets flushed out by the time this book is published because the
yeah.
end of this book has him realizing that that's his
Yeah.
mate, right? So like
Yeah.
we've got that, she knows where she's going. But yeah, it's just that's interesting to like think about what does draft 1 and 2 look like, and then when does this like sort of clever foreshadowing actually happen? And yeah, it's probably in like draft 4 or 5 or whatever.
Yeah. 170, top of 170. It
Mhm.
was probably the lulling of the magic that clouded my thoughts, and I didn't think of my family until I passed the outer hedge wall one morning, scouting for a new spot to paint.
Mhm.
That shit feels like a real spell. That
Yep.
feels like a perimeter spell, like part of the glamour. That feels like Tamlin was like, I gotta get you to fall in love with me. Let's not think about sad stuff for a good while. And I never considered that
Ooh.
he actually put a spell on her, but she says she passed through a threshold, like the perimeter of where the spell has power, and suddenly she snaps out of
I
it.
passed the
That
outer. Well, I mean, I thought it was interesting, but I did not read. That's fascinating to read it like that. Yeah, and then like a breeze from the south ruffled my hair, fresh and warm. Spring was not, and so I just read it as like, oh, she got far enough south to like feel the breeze from the south. But no, you're right. Like she
well,
passed a threshold,
and
and
oftentimes like a breeze is kind of like magical spirit, blah blah blah, has kind of some of those implications. So maybe like something was trying to make her remember.
that or the breeze or like, like the air from the south is stopped because of this actual like
Oh
physical
yeah.
barrier, and when she passes through it, she like when you I don't know, when you go through like drive through at McDonald's or something, they open the window and all of a sudden you're like blasted in the face with fucking
Like
McDonald's smell.
that's all. It's okay.
Like you're like, "Oh, that's fucking diabetes and clogged arteries. Let's go." Um
Yeah.
yeah, like I feel like it could just be that where like if she's passing through this like actual barrier that he's created to glamour her. But that's
Mhm.
fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because he's
Sh
like, "I
we
really gotta
well,
get her to like
we
me."
we know she is glamored. She's glamored against being able to see stuff, so it's not like it's, "Oh, Tamlin would never do it." Of course he did it. We know
Mhm.
he did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I do also like people do have real moments like this where they just go, "Oh my god,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't thought
sure.
about," like, so it could, and I think that's how we're supposed to read it, but to me, I don't
It's a
know. This
little
feels like
sus.
maybe this is a real spell.
Well, and then when she thinks about her family, she doesn't do the things that have been distracting her, right? Then I didn't
Mhm.
paint that day.
Yeah, and she is mad, so maybe the spell is broken when she leaves it or something, like, because then she
Well
goes back to dinner and she's still pissed, but maybe it's because she figured it out or
well,
remembered or
that or
something.
she is not distracted anymore, right? She says, "I painted for weeks and I went on rides with Tamlin," right? And
Mhm.
so then when she finally thinks about her family, she's like, "I didn't paint that day and I didn't go for a ride that day." She's like, "I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't do the things that have been distracting me that have been, quote, bringing me joy, I guess."
Yeah. But I was thinking, like, if it is a spell and it's a perimeter spell, like, that's the reach of it and she stepped over it, when she goes back, should she have, like, forgotten? Or maybe once you realize you only can glamour something that's unaware type
Yeah.
of deal.
I think there's a case to be made for what you're saying even in the book because one of the lines I highlighted was, "And Tamlin had let me forget."
Yes, she blames him instinctively.
Yes, she blames him. She's not
Mhm.
like, "I was so distracted and I didn't wanna see it and I blah," and she said, "This fucker gave me paints and a pretty horse and he let me forget."
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is rightfully suspicious.
Mhm. Like a stupid, useless, obedient human.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I also think it's interesting, like, now if it's a spell, different. But if it's not, it's interesting, like, how long she was, like, basking in, like, having her dreams come true before shit hit her again. Because if it's not a spell, it's just, like, she remembered. That distraction was, like, not very I guess, like, a couple weeks, but
Yeah.
it's just kinda interesting. It's like, she's not really fully avoiding, like, I don't know. Yeah, she can't really fully get away.
Yes, but she was so stuck for a minute there of, like, getting a message to her family, trying to talk to them, going and seeing them. How are
Yeah.
they living? "Oh, I have this thing. I have an oath that I made to my mom," and blah, blah, blah. Like, she was, like, so harped on it,
Yeah.
and then he said, "They're taken care of," and she said, "'Kay." He said, "And they don't remember you." Sort of. They think that you're with your aunt or something. And she was like,
Mhm.
"'Kay, I don't like that, but okay, at least they're safe." And then he goes, "Right, I see that you don't like this. Pretty stuff, fun stuff, starlight pools and
Yeah.
ponies and paintings and let's go
Mhm.
have fun." And then she says, "Fuck, you told me that you glamored them, which I should be pissed about, and then you gave me shit to keep me occupied." He does the classic, like, "I'm gonna slap you and then give you flowers." He
Yeah.
does something that she's like, That's morally questionable, and I don't know if I like that." And he goes, "But yummy food and
Here's some great
wine,
art.
and
Yeah.
here's art and a library that you can't use, and here's all the paint you could ask for. Oh, you wanted the 4 primary colors or whatever the fuck. I gave you 26 different colors.
Mhm.
Go
Mhm.
off, babe."
Colors you never seen before. Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah. I also think, could it be that, like, physiological and safety,
mhm,
she kinda had the bottom 2, Tamlin solves those for her. Now she's in love and belonging.
mhm.
So although she's actually doing, like, kind of self-actualization and esteem things, right? That's where art belongs. Um, but you could also say that it's less about her expression and more about her freedom. So maybe that's kind
Well,
of
and then
but it's interesting because
also
the next tier is
questioning.
actually sense of connection, friendship, intimacy, and family.
Mhm.
And Tamlin's not really giving her probably a sense of he's giving her a place to be, but he's not there. You never get the sense that they are connecting a lot. I guess they are going on rides and
Mm,
stuff, but they
yeah.
always
Well,
feel
and
weird.
then I think that there's a line on 170 says, "So sometimes I dared to paint the High Lord who rode at my side when he wandered his grounds on lazy days, the High Lord whom I was happy to talk to or spend hours in comfortable silence with." And I think that's supposed to be like our indication that there's some.
Their intimacy.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
it
because
actually takes a lot to be comfortably silent with somebody.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, 'cause I was just thinking like maybe she's noticing this because she's if we walk away from the spell idea,
Mhm.
she's actually just jolting because she's in this tier where she needs family, sense of community,
Yeah.
belonging, and she's not getting that from Tamlin, or she thought she was, and then she's not really, or it's not true, or it's not good enough.
Or even if she is
Um,
getting it from Tamlin,
Maybe
now
she
that
still needs
she's
family.
well, that or now she's getting it from Tamlin and she's wondering why she never got it from her family. And she's still
True, yeah,
not
the
like, that could be part of
contrast.
like, right, like, I don't know, this is, I don't know, fucking self-therapy, whatever, but, like, when Topher and I got together and, like, you're like, How can you like me so much and have known me for this long and my whatever relative fucking sucks?"
Yeah.
Like, like, how are you capable of loving our kids the way that you do, and my dad can't be fucking bothered? Like,
Mhm.
and so I think that that's kind of woo, um there's a this whole sort of inner stuff here. I think it's just a lot of like, I do love this idea of her passing through a threshold that is like slapped her in the face, because then she goes on this little like grief spiral almost where she's like, I let him like, and Tamlin had let me forget, and I just did what the Suriel said like a fucking idiot, and then like, the on 171, I don't have specific thoughts, I guess. I just kind of like highlighted the paragraph because I was like, I have like, it has a feeling, but like, my nails prick the skin of my palms. This is after
She grabs the
well,
or
she's
yeah, they're in
yeah,
the
so
rose
she's like,
garden.
"My father planted it for my mother, it was their mating present," right? And then she says, "My nails pricked the skin of my palms. Tamlin provided for them or no, glamoring their memories or no. I'd been erased from their lives, forgotten. I'd let him erase me. He offered me paints and the space and the time to practice. He'd shown me pools of starlight. He saved my life like some kind of feral knight in a legend, and I'd gulped it down like fairy wine. I was no better than those zealot children of blessed." And so I just find it so interesting that like at first she's like what the, she's kind of like, I passed past this threshold and was like, "What the fuck?" And I was upset, and I'm mad at myself, and I'm mad at them, and I'm mad at Tamlin, and I'm like, "What is wrong with," like, she just has this like
Mhm.
whole little like apocalyptic thought where she's just like, she's pissed and she's mad at everybody involved.
Yeah.
And I feel like she doesn't know where to really put her anger because she's like, all of us have a little bit to blame, right? Like, my Tamlin put on the glamour and let them forget me and let me forget them. And then I was easily, and I gulped all up this bullshit and I was willing to forget them. And they never gave a shit about me in the first place. Why
Yeah.
should I care that they forgot about me when they never fucking remembered me when I was there? And here I am feeling bad about myself when they're a bunch of assholes. Like, she just literally have this whole little crisis. And I am like, I love it, but also was a little crazy of a ride to read.
Yeah, it felt like out of nowhere a little bit, like, I would have expected, like, maybe little tingles of this before, and then maybe, like, a little day where you really feel it type of thing,
Mhm.
but, I mean, I think it's fine 'cause it is on some level, it is realistic to, like, suddenly feel guilty and to have, like, a bad day about it, so I
Also,
think that's fine,
I
but,
did find it to be a little bit weird in the middle of a conversation about Tamlin's backstory. She's having this like crisis of remembrance and legacy, I guess. And then she's like, "Well, what about your fuckers? Did they suck? Because mine sucked. What'd you do for your family?" And they, like, I don't know. I think that she keeps being like, and his parents probably loved him. And he's like, "Well, actually." But yeah, I
yeah,
don't know. I feel like, so there's a part here. I just felt it was like, the realistic aspect of this is that it's whirlwindy, right? That she blames
yeah,
herself, she's mad at her sister, she's mad at Tamlin, she doesn't know what to do. And there's a part where it says, a family, so he didn't reprimand me for taking one of his parents' roses. They probably loved each other and loved him better than mine cared for me. A family that would have offered to go to the place if someone had come to steal him away. So she's pissed at her family that, like, after everything that I did for them,
they let her go.
yeah. And so she says, oh, so we get this internal thoughts. And she says, I don't know why I feel so tremendously ashamed of myself for leaving them, why it feels so selfish and horrible to paint. I shouldn't feel that way, should I? I know I shouldn't, but I can't help it. And I wrote, I don't think that's how you're feeling. You're not talking about feeling ashamed. You're mad.
Mhm.
So what she's voicing is not what she's feeling. She's saying, I feel ashamed for enjoying myself here, which is not at all the thoughts that we just got from her. The
Yeah,
thought
that
we
is
get to her is
interesting.
finally the next sentence where she says, all those years, what I did for them, and they didn't even try to stop you from taking me. That's what she's thinking.
Mhm.
And
That's
I
way
think,
more vulnerable, so I can see why you
yes,
I feel I'm being stupid. I know
yeah.
I yeah.
But I
Yeah.
feel like that's part of the realistic aspects of this is that the internal
Mhm.
stuff is very harsh, right? I'm a
Mhm.
fucking idiot. Tamlin's a dick. My sisters suck. My dad sucks. Everybody can go fuck themselves, including myself. But then what she says is, oh, I just feel so ashamed of enjoying myself right now.
Mhm.
When you're like, girl, you're not enjoying anything right now. You like, I mean, yes, but also like, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a realistic sort of doom spiral, just
Yeah.
like a depiction of that.
Yeah.
But yes, it also felt like, oh, we're doing this here. Okay,
Uh-huh.
this is where this is happening. Okay.
Yeah. I also say on the page of 4 when she's at dinner and she says that like Tamlin and Lucien can tell that she's pissed.
Hmm.
What do? They leave her the fuck alone. They don't say shit. It's such a like you see someone's upset, like you just say, "Okay, I'm gonna let them be." Like that's I can see
Everybody
it being some people's defaults, but I'm just like,
Well, or because when Tamlin gets upset, everyone has to walk on eggshells. So the only
hmm.
way they know how to respond to anger and frustration is to walk on eggshells and to avoid. Because Tamlin throws tantrums.
Have we never thought of that before?
I don't know, it's genius. I love it. But yeah,
Oh,
so I think that that's part of it. It's just like that's their response to
yeah,
their High Lord, right? Whenever there's tension. And
that's a good
think of
point.
it, it's kind of how they deal with anything, right? Amarantha's been fucking off for 49 years or whatever. And what's their plot? Avoid it as long as possible.
Yeah,
Don't talk to the mad lady. Like, here we are again. There's like, oh, well, this is awkward, but we're just gonna let her have her feelings over it there, and we're
yeah.
gonna go ahead and have our feelings here.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like what you said about the doom scroll is doom
Mhm.
scroll. Doom spiral is
This doom
good.
spiral, yeah. I
um, I also forgot about this palm kiss thing. I have no memory of this.
I have no memory of this either, but I think that we have a Tamlin mantra slash Tamlin philosophy of life
Oh,
on page 172,
okay.
right? So she's talking about um compared to you, I suppose my self pity is absurd. And he's like, well, if it grieves you, then it's not absurd at all. And she's like, why? And he's like, well, fuck, I don't know. And he's kissing her palms, doing all the things, whatever else. And then he says, don't feel
Oh,
bad for one moment about doing what brings you joy. That, I mean, it sounds lovely and sweet. Don't you feel bad for things that bring you joy? But it's such a Tamlin philosophy. Rhys, do not for 1 minute feel bad about doing something that brings others joy.
that's what he says?
No, but that's, I mean, think about it,
Oh,
right? Like,
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tamlin is like, "Don't feel bad about being happy. Do what
Yeah, it
makes
sounds
you
like somebody
happy."
who's justifying their actions a lot of the time.
Tamlin is a treat yourself. Tamlin is a treat yourself girl. Where Rhys is like, "Don't feel bad about anything that you have to do if it keeps your people safe.
Yeah,
If it brings
yeah,
others joy, fuck it. You did your job." Right? And,
yeah.
like, again, I know we're gonna have people come at us because 'cause they're gonna be like, "Well, Rhys is just as manipulative and blah, blah." Fine, great, whatever. But and then
The
right?
Reese haters will never have a place
It's
here.
totally fine. Yeah. And so, but like, yeah, but I'm
And
like,
he's a treat yourself bitch too, to be fair. He loves
he
his fancy clothes,
sure
but
he
it's
yes.
yeah, yeah, Tamlin would
But yeah, tell him say, don't feel bad at what makes you happy. But yeah, I don't know. I read that and I was like, oh, this is icky now that I know where this is going. Like, I don't know.
mhm.
It just feels very like entitled. It's jockey.
Yeah,
Uh
don't feel bad
it's
if it makes you happy.
it's very like nepotism, privilege, rich
Yeah.
kid kind of vibe, which sorry if any of our listeners are those things and are
I
offended,
always
but
like
like,
that.
yeah, it just, I don't know, it just has
Yeah.
that like, you're fine.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up entitled as fuck and learned. I got hit with the real world. I successfully escaped that world.
I don't
Uh,
think I got I don't think I was well,
well,
I
I
wasn't
grew up in a rich place with,
yeah.
you know, I was like spoiled, nepotism, whatever.
I think I was just super sheltered, and then life hit me and I said, "Oh, wow, people really I mean, I knew they sucked, but like they really
They
can
really
suck."
suck. Yeah.
And everything is
Um,
very expensive. I knew I was poor, but like god damn am I poor.
seriously. Um,
Sorry, I completely skipped over the palm kissing because I thought that it came after the if it brings you joy, but it did not. So,
no, it's
yeah,
okay. I mean, I don't
I
really have anything to say about the palm kissing except for like it's a sensuous moment. It's oh, he can definitely smell her. When she kicks
okay.
on, he goes, "I did it."
Yeah, okay, that's exactly what I was thinking the whole time. I was like,
Ew. She doesn't
Crescent
know that he can smell her
No,
yet,
because
right?
in Crescent City, right, they talk about smelling, like, arousal all the time to the point where, like, Bryce is turned on with Rune in the room, and he's like, "Huh, can you stop? Like,
Ew.
you're my sister, can you please stop?" Like, which is
I'm
hilarious and
so
whatever.
glad you can't actually smell it. That would be so insane.
I haven't decided if I want that in my book or not, if you can smell arousal.
No.
No. And then she got wet and I can smell it. Uh, bleh.
I think, yeah, the implications are just, yeah.
But yeah, so like, oh, then that makes me think something. See, now it's even more manipulative because
Because he understands the effect he had on her.
he kisses her palm, he turns her on, he smells the arousal, and then he goes, "Don't you feel bad for something that brings you joy?"
Yeah.
Says,
Mhm.
"I know what's going on, babe. Don't feel bad." He's not talking like no longer is he talking about his sisters and painting. He's talking about banging.
Mhm.
Don't feel
Yeah,
bad
and
about this.
he does kind of feel orchestrated. Like it feels like I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna do a little move, and then I'm
Mhm,
gonna walk away. We're
mhm.
not gonna make out.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna kiss a little
yeah.
palm, or you know,
And
it's
I'm gonna be talking about something else, but I'm gonna plant it in your head that like this is okay. You can enjoy this. Don't feel
yeah,
weird about this. Feel good about this. Does it feel good? Don't feel bad. That's
yeah.
fuck. That's intense.
And now it could also just be like if
Out
we're
of
going
10.
in the first reading, this is a respectable guy. He's not trying to make a move on her, when she's just sad. He's just going to kiss her palm sweetly when she's sad. And then so you can interpret it as like, this is such a sweet guy thing to do. But in retrospect, you can also be like, hmm.
I don't
um,
know, but I think he's also still talking about being a horny fuck.
yeah,
'Cause
no,
then
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
and, like, in the next area where she, like, asks him again, "Why is he doing this?" "Because your human joy fascinates me, the way you experience things in your lifespan so wildly and deeply and all at once. It's entrancing. I'm drawn to it even when I know I shouldn't be, even when I try not to be."
I didn't, but I was like, my question with that, I wrote that down. I was like, are we buying this? Do
She's
we think
buying this.
like
I
she
bought it the first
is?
time I read it. I was like, "Damn, smooth criminal." And
Yeah, but
then
like
now I'm like,
now,
"Yeah, no," because he's like
because he,
because here's the thing, she's if he has glamored her to forget or to like, be happy, and then now she's pissed, now she's made it past the glamour, what's the next thing you do? Try to make her happy and forget again. And the
mm-hmm.
easiest way to do that is to make her fucking horny,
Yes, yeah.
right?
Oh
Like,
no, I
oh,
actually
well,
meant like buying it. Like, is he really fascinated? Like,
no.
why is he saying this? Like, he acts like he's never seen a human before. Like,
No,
I don't know. It seems like a weird, just yeah, like bullshit
no,
answer.
he needs her to fall for him.
Yeah.
And he needs her to not be pissed about her family and hung up on her family because that's a distraction from her falling in love with him. And in 3 pages, he says, "I know what today is." So he's on a time crunch,
Mm. Yeah, but I don't know. I thought it was an interesting thing to say. Like, your human joy fascinates me, and your lifespan
Mhm.
is so short. Like, I don't know, but yeah.
Because
No, I
it's
definitely
supposed
think everything has that second layer to it.
not only that, but like if he's being manipulative, right? not that she outright said it, but like one of her biggest insecurities is to be forgotten, to be insignificant. And what he's saying is,
you fascinate me.
you fascinate me, and I think that the small lifetime that you have is not actually indicative of your insignificance, but a
Yeah.
testament to how big you live and how big you feel. And that's fascinating. That
Yeah,
there's
that is.
something that is that I can't grasp because I am not given a limited life, and there's something that is precious about your limited lifespan that is fascinating to me, and maybe I will keep with me long after you are gone, which she wants.
This is how I feel about dogs.
Oh, Jesus, I mean, Feyre is a really good dog name.
She is. She sits
Nesta is
pretty.
a really good dog name.
No, she's a bitch.
A female dog.
Yeah, but she is a bad dog. Nessa is
Yeah,
that
of
dog
course
that
she's a
gets in the
bad dog.
trash and rubs it,
Yes,
rings it all
yes,
over the
yes,
house.
yes.
Elaine, that's a show dog. She's gonna go to those little obstacle courses. And
I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I also think that Elaine is kind of too stupid to be a show dog. I think Nesta's the
she's
show
a
dog.
purse dog.
Yes, Nesta is the show dog. She can dance, she can do
True,
a
true, true.
trot, she can do a thing, and she's a little competitive, snarky bitch.
That's
Elaine
true.
is the dogs that you see being pushed in strollers in grocery stores.
Is that a bit? That's
she's
your dog.
she's she's a frou frou Shih Tzu something that just says,
Yep.
or she's a pug with the eyes that go in opposite directions because she be seeing different fucking futures.
Oh, that's fucked up. Elaine is a pug because she sees two realities at once and because her eyes are all fucked up from her genetic. Anyway, sorry, not to be so unhinged. I realized as you were talking, I was like, you know who we're fascinated by their love of life and their is dogs. They're just like so happy all
Yes,
the
it's not
time.
unhinged at all.
Yeah.
Feyre is very
Dude.
much a pet.
Hmm.
I was so baffled by the poem. I feel like I remembered it
I didn't. I
as,
remember them talking in the rose garden. I didn't remember this kiss thing. And I was like,
so
okay.
I don't remember the kissing.
Or the blood on his lips when he's like he kissed it away.
Fucking
I was like,
weirdo. Yeah, I
he's
don't
so
remember
creepy.
any of that. And then I also don't remember, like, I feel like when you had said, remember he makes a poem out of her words, and I was like, oh shit, that's like, I feel like it just didn't like live in my head as a scene. And then you
Hmm.
reminded me that he did it, but I didn't really like, I didn't remember the poem because I'm me. And now that I read it again, I was like, this is not okay. It just seems so patronizing.
Yeah, no, it is. Um, yeah. Okay, so let's see. I think I did have a couple things before that poem. Mostly just okay, noticing, her realization they're not really compatible. I think this is mostly just so that we can see like, oh, I can't be with him because I'm gonna die, and why would he want to be with me? Like there's that element. And then also this, one day I'll have answers for everything is some foreshadowing. And then also another moment of like we get the kiss. We've had little tiny moments, usually at the ends of scenes like this, where she's realizing like that she likes him and whatever. So it's definitely like a scene that builds that. But also, oh yeah, okay. Did you remember this purring? She traps him with a vine, and I assume like cartoonishly, like is he's hanging by a leg.
Yep.
Is that how she traps a Suriel too? She flipping
Yep.
everyone upside down?
Yep.
Okay, is
Well,
this
no. The Suriel's just not trapping upside down because at some point the Suriel, because I thought that, and then I read it again, and the Suriel ends up like squatted down on the ground. So she like bear traps the Suriel's leg,
okay?
where this one she has a whole snare and flips his ass upside down.
I was just like, this seems so insanely cartoonish, which is maybe fine because it's kind of meant to be like a lighthearted scene that's like more
Could you
fun.
imagine if she'd like Spider-Man kissed him right now?
That's exactly what I was picturing,
Yes, I
because
was
she
like,
kinda does do that. She, like, pets his hair
well,
and he's
yeah,
purring into
and I
her hand.
bleh.
And also
uh,
that a
yeah,
vine is gonna hold a what, a 200-pound muscle-packed Fey man? Like, I'm okay, that's a cartoon, okay? And I just wish she had just said, "With some rope I brought," or some fucking
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you there's no vine. I'm sure there's some vine in nature that can do this, but I immediately picture the vines from Tarzan, and then I'm like, "This is
They're
silly," and then it
magical
seems
vines.
crazy.
They're Prythian vines. They're
Okay,
strong.
valid. Now I'm on board again. But I was, like, annoyed. I was like, This is not you cannot make a vine do
I
this."
love that that's what you're hung up on, not the fact that he's upside down going,
No, then I was like, "Why is he purring? This is weird, and who purrs?"
it's
And,
like,
like,
extra
if
he's
you're just like,
upside down, and he's like, "Go ahead, touch my hair." So, she's not going like this and, like, running, she's going like,
yeah.
it's weird. It's like, "Oh, okay."
I guess it's, like, sensual and, it's intimate, but I just thought it's kinda cringy.
It is kinda cringy.
And I didn't remember it all, so, it's funny because 'cause I've read this is the 3rd time I've read it now, and I still forgot. We get
I
skin to
mean, we all know,
skin.
like, everybody like, in romantasy, everyone's purring, everyone's growling or roaring or, like,
Yeah.
animalistic sounds, like, okay, fine. It'd be like
Yeah,
if
I
he
will
moaned it'd
never
be like
write
if
those in
yeah,
mine, but yes.
it'd be like if he moaned, right? Like, if, it happens,
Yeah.
you, like, rub something and they're like, have a little, like, guttural moan. Instead of writing guttural moan, I guess you write purr.
Yeah, it is funny.
Wonder how that
Um
sound would feel if it were fully pressed against me skin to skin and then said, "Oh, ew. uh, why am I thinking about that? Gross."
Yeah, yeah. Okay, now that's all I had before the poem. I just wanted to like note, especially the parts where we're getting those little hints about like where she's starting to fall in love, blah blah blah, and then another intimate moment, and then I had to rant about my vine. But yeah, then we get and she's horny again. He probably can smell her again. His
Uh-huh.
head's probably actually near her, like
Well,
he's upside down in the air.
yeah, that's fair. Uh-huh.
Or maybe not. Maybe he's higher than her. Whatever. I don't care. I also wonder if he just let her catch him because there's no way he's actually surprised, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's even more condescending too,
Yep.
dude.
Mhm.
Like the cute thing to do is to be like get caught and then be like, just kidding, I watched you lay this, but you know,
Yeah.
I could see you 200 yards away. Sorry, I'm Faye. Like it'll make a cute little joke or teaser a little bit, but
Yeah.
pretending to get caught is kind of
Uh-huh.
like I don't know.
Yeah,
Especially since the poem is patronizing.
like, I'm trying to read between the lines here too, right? There once was a
Mhm.
lady most beautiful. Great, cool. Spirited, if a little unusual. Okay. Her friends were few. You don't really know that, but okay. But how men did Q, but to all she gave a refusal. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I have a hard time reading poetry anyways, and I'm
Mhm.
not really sure like the rhyming scheme is
I
there a
think
rhyming
that's the yeah, I mean, actually beautiful, unusual, few, cute, refusal.
I felt like the last line made it feel like
It makes
because
it feel like it falls flat because
yes, because it
it's
doesn't
unsatisfying.
there's no rhyme with it. Like it feels like there should be another line. Maybe I'm just
Y
not a limerick girl. Okay, and even still, what am I supposed to get from this? You took the words that I don't know how to read and you turned it into a limerick about me, about how
Mhm.
I'm pretty but unusual and I have no friends. And even those guys wanted me, I said no. So I was a prude. I'm a beautiful, weird, friendless prude.
I know, it's like,
Like, that's what you know about me. That's what Tamlin knows about her. She's pretty, but
yeah.
she's weird, and she doesn't really have a whole lot of friends. And there's probably men who liked her because she's not ugly, but she said no. Maybe he's trying to be like, anyways,
Just
he's trying to
cute
make
with
it a,
it.
but
I
like,
I like
but
that it's not too polished because that's kinda more realistic of somebody who just made this
yeah,
up,
and
sure,
that's
but
fine too. But I also feel like it's showing us what Tamlin thinks of her and what he knows of her, and he's not trying harder to know her. It's not hard. Her
yeah.
family sucks. And, like, he does. I mean, I guess there's, like, times where he's, like, talking about, like, because it says in the chapter before or whatever, where, like, and so I told him everything about the time in the woods. So, like, he knows. You would think that he would
Mhm.
come up with a little bit more meaningful limerick, but I guess he also didn't really have words that he could work with so well. I'm mad that we don't get the dirty one.
Well,
I
the
wanna
only
know
thing
what
is that
I wanna know what
she would have to make
slaying
those good.
I don't know what slaying and conflagration. I wanna know what that poem was about. Slaying and, killing and burning people.
Yeah.
And it's also supposed to be dirty? Let's go. Anyways.
Yeah. I mean, the tactic is probably because it's hard to write those, and so if
Yeah.
you didn't do it perfectly, people would be like, "This isn't funny enough to
Yeah.
tip your head back and laugh at."
Yeah, that's fair.
I do
Um,
hate when she says, "I tipped my head back and howled." For some reason, the pacing of those sentences, she does it, like, several times throughout the
mhm.
series, and it always makes me think of, like, joke, punchline lands, and someone goes, and it's so dramatic,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I could just did a visual
Or
demonstration, but I
or
just it seems crazy.
or like we said before, she is a really good dog.
She's
So
howling for real.
she's in fact howling because she's a Labrador, a loyal, good dog.
A lab would never.
Howl? Of course they would. Is she a husky? Is she a
Whenever
little
I
derpy?
think
Is
yeah,
she
I
a
always
little
think of, like,
derpy?
those annoying dogs that are, like, just
Is she
yapping all
like
the
the
time.
really annoying husky that looks really fierce, but is just like, "Ba-da, ba-da"?
What kind of dog is Feyre? A chihuahua? No.
Yeah, no, Feyre could be a husky where, like, she looks intense, she is loyal, she's a pack animal,
Mhm.
she knows how to love, but she can't read, which is the derpy part.
Didoi? Yeah, oh my gosh. I don't know what she is. Um,
I found this next part. So they're talking about mates, and I think that we're supposed to get that
yes.
he's blushing because he likes her, but I don't think that's what this is. So,
Where?
you said that your father had planted had it planted for your parents upon their mating, not their wedding. High face, mostly merry, he said, his golden skin flushing a bit. But if they're blessed, then they find their mate. They're equal, they're match in every way. Why is he blushing?
Why is he blushing?
Why is he blushing? He's not blushing because he thinks Feyre could be his mate.
He's
There's
not blushing about
absolutely
his parents.
he's not blushing about his parents. And
Yeah.
is he blushing or is he angry? Is talking about mates makes him angry.
Yeah, Flush could be, like, seen like that.
That his equal and match in every way is fucking Amarantha.
That's fucked up. I'd be mad
Like,
too.
yeah. But if they're
Yeah,
blessed, they
maybe
find their
Amarantha painted all those.
oh,
Maybe
that's got
it's Amarantha's pool.
could you imagine? Oh my god. But yeah, I mean, so like it could be I feel like he did like his golden skin flushing a bit. Yeah, like it could be anger, right? Why else did your skin flush? Embarrassment?
Yeah.
Anger?
Yeah, that is funny. I didn't catch that at all,
So
actually.
yeah, I just thought it was interesting that like what are we supposed to get from that? Um I think that Tamlin's brothers were rapists.
Why do you think that?
Page 176.
Oh, yes. When they talk
My
about
father
what
was
they used to do to humans.
yeah. Says my father was as bad as Lucian's, worse. My two older brothers were just like him. They kept slaves, all of them. And my brothers, I was young when the treaty was forged, but I still remember what my brothers used to. He trailed off. It left a mark. Enough of a mark that when I saw you, your house, I couldn't. I wouldn't let myself be like them. Wouldn't bring harm to your family or you or subject you to fairy whims. Fairy whims?
Yeah.
That
Or
I
maybe
wasn't gonna
yeah,
toy with
maybe they were like
or to, like, toy with them or, like, fuck with them and
yeah.
torture them and, look at
Maybe they're like used to like seduce women to like get them and they would like
or, like,
maybe
the
they're
cre
like the Hybern weird twins where they would like
yeah,
actually like eat them or
yeah,
rip them
or,
apart or
like,
something.
the
But they
creepy
would
kid
start by
had a
like getting
yeah,
him to like ask him
or,
out or
like,
something.
did you go to school with a creepy kid who used to, like, rip wings off of butterflies? Because I did, like, that kinda like, it's like, that
Yeah.
kinda shit sticks with you where he's like, "Oh, they're insects," so, like, they would just play with them and rip them apart and hurt them, and that kinda shit
Yeah.
sticks with you.
Well, I was thinking just like on the lines of like what he's doing is subjecting her to fairy whims in terms of like he is seducing her, and maybe that because like I think a lot
And
of the
glamoring
sort
her.
of it's like about fairies are gonna manipulate, fairies are gonna do this, and so maybe he almost feels like guilty because like he's kind of doing what he said he would never do, which is like kind of trying to seduce a human woman. Now he's not gonna like maybe the brothers would seduce women to like because they thought it was fun, a little game, and then they would like
Mhm.
kill them. And so he's
Yeah.
not doing that part, but he still feels like he's that kind of
Yeah.
person. I hadn't really thought about it that much until you said that, but yeah, they definitely did some fucked up shit. So maybe,
Mhm.
even no matter what they did, it's insane.
Yeah.
Um and sorry, did I cut you off?
No?
All right, yeah. But yeah.
Do you find it weird that he was in a war band? Like, there's just like a army?
Yeah, maybe there's like a standing army, like, or maybe they had little battles somewhere else. Maybe they helped Aelin.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I feel maybe it's because I just read a different book when like the war bands are like not in the center of the city. It's like he has to go and like he lives with like these tribes or whatever.
That's why I
Tribes
get the sense that he like went out to somewhere to
to
train.
Hybern to train.
Could be.
He went to the war bands in Hybern to his dad's war bands over across the
Yeah,
seas because
I
that's a
believe
better.
that. Especially if Hybern was like, "We're not over this. We're gonna actually plan our
Well,
vengeance."
and
Maybe
it
Tamlin's dad was like, "Yeah,
says,
we'll help you
"So I
later."
trained and I fought for my father against whomever he told me to fight, and I would have been happy to leave the scheming to my brothers." He said, "I just went to Hybern and I was a fucking soldier and I just killed whoever he wanted me to kill. And then I met Amarantha and we were friends, and then we found out that we were mated, and then she fucking lost her mind. And I had to turn the mate bond down. And then in the next book, he's gonna be the person who tells Lucien, don't turn the mate bond down because it's gonna hurt your soul. And Lucian's gonna be like, I'm trying, my dude, but I think that she's into the guy with wings. And the guy with wings be like, just kidding, I actually like dick, I'm into Eris.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope
Me
so.
too. Me too. I'm here for that.
Yeah, I am wondering about the. I was just trying to think. I was thinking about the timing of the war because here I think he says like I was too young for the war, but then I thought he had been in the war, and then I'm like, I don't
He was a
know. Well,
kid. He was a kid during the
it's
war. What, 500 years ago, right? Is the war? Yeah, he was a kid.
yeah, but Amarantha was like losing her mind with Jurian during the war, so
Oh,
she
ew.
she was like she like so if your Tamarantha theory is a thing, then she has already lost her mind when he finds out that they're mated, if he ever found that out and blah blah blah, because she's already had the Jurian thing happen. So maybe he always turned it
Well, yeah,
down. Maybe they
he was
how
still
could
in
they
her
become friends after she was crazy? Or maybe he was just like a kid at war with his dad and he got to
because
know her before she did that and was like
no,
friends like a 20-year-old with her.
I think the jury and stuff happened during the war. And then remember it said that like Hybern had people infiltrate into the courts as like seductresses and whatever else. So I think she already had Jurian's fucking eyeball. And
Okay.
then after
And
the war they
that's when they
lost.
became friends?
Well, no, they lose,
Okay.
right? And then Hybern is stuck on his bullshit for 500 years because he's pissed. And so, in that, say, the last century is when he starts being like, cool, I'm going to send out all my spies and I'm going to start doing shit. I'm going to try to tear Prythian apart from the inside out. So now Tamlin's like, 400 years old. Amarantha comes and infiltrates. And then within like just past the 50 years, great betray happens. She takes her shit, says Tamlin join me, and he says no. And that's when she does
Mm,
her bullshit. So I think that they can be separated by 500 years. I think that she could have had Jurian's eye the whole time and still been like, cool, I still work for Hybern. We're still pissed that we
mm,
lost. Humans still are the fucking worst. And then she goes to like infiltrate into the high courts, falls for
yeah.
Tamlin, finds out they're mates, and then tries to get him to side with her. Humans suck. Let's take this back. This is bullshit. And he says, no, thank you. And she goes, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck your shit up then. And you got
I
50
just thought
years.
they were friends before or something, but yeah, maybe I'm
But
just
that would make
misremembering.
sense
But
why the
yeah.
curse is what it is, right? Because if she
Yeah.
infiltrates and then she falls for Tamlin. What mates her not? She falls for Tamlin. We know this.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
she's
yeah.
trying to get him on her side and being like, come fight with me and take back what is ours. And he says, no, I'm not going to be like my dad and my brothers. I'm not going to punish humans for just them being humans. And she says, cool. Then I hope that you try to then you need to have a human fall in love with you. Someone who hates you as much as the rest of us hate each other. And that's the curse, because you want to fight for them. You want to not have me. You want to choose humans over me and what I'm offering you. Then fuck off. Here's your curse. That makes sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish
But yeah, I mean,
should've-
it is kind of like, that's intense that she's like in it during the war and he's like, too young to fight. But like, what does too young to fight mean?
That's what I'm like. Maybe
65?
he's 30.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right?
So like, because maybe they did get to know each other before that, before she lost it, and then
Yeah.
because he could be 60 when she went crazy. Uh, they
I
could have had
think
40
that
years of friendship.
Tamlin's series of events is an interesting telling. Right. So he's talking about his dad and his brothers and how they suck. And how like his mom really loved his dad. And like I never wanted to be the High Lord, so as soon as I could, I went and joined the war band. Probably more to save his life than actually wanting to be in this thing, but whatever. Because like, if I had stayed, my
His
brothers would have
Lucian
killed
moment.
me. Right?
hmm
And then we get a cute little like I can play a mean fiddle, whatever. So I trained and fought for my father, against whom he told me to fight, and I would have happy to leave the scheming to my brothers. But my power kept growing, and I couldn't hide it, not amongst our kind. He shook his head. Fortunately, or unfortunately, they were killed by the High Lord of an enemy court. I was spared for whatever reason or cauldron granted luck.
For
My
whatever
mother I
reason.
mourned, the others he too tight shrugged. My brothers would not have tried to save me from a fate like yours. My brothers would not have tried to save me from a fate like yours. Oh, because I think he's trying to relate to her right now, because she's like, your family would have
Yeah.
come after you, and he's like, not
Yeah, it's
really.
taking your place.
But
Yeah.
here's my thing. We know Rhys's side of this, right? So Tamlin's dad comes to kill Rhys,
I think
right?
so. Yeah.
And Rhys is not there, and so he kills his sisters and mom.
Is it
Two
multiple
sisters.
sisters?
Two
I think there's
sisters, I
one.
do believe. I thought it was two sisters. It could be wrong. Whatever. Anyways,
Mhm.
kills women of the family.
Yeah.
But fortunately or unfortunately, they were killed by the High Lord of an enemy court. Why? I didn't realize they were enemy courts, because I thought that Tamlin and Rhys were cordial, if not
Well,
friendly.
that's what made them enemies.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I guess the dads were enemies to each other, right? Like
Yeah.
Tamlin's dad and Rhys's dad were enemy court lords, whatever.
Mhm.
Fine. Just thought it was a little weird. But he's just like, yeah, I mean, fortunately or unfortunately, he was killed by an enemy high lord. I'm not going to mention that my dad went into their house first and killed their mom and daughters, and that like, maybe they had it coming to him, and then the guy that I was kind of friends with, who definitely had every reason to want us all dead, actually said, I won't kill you, let's just be done, enough blood is shed here. And I said, okay. But no, I'm going to call it cauldron luck. Come on.
Hey, maybe it's actually a sign that Rhys is cauldron made. And I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I mean, he has to yada yada. He's not gonna like
Yeah,
whatever. But I just thought that it was an interesting, like, this is what we know of this, and
it's
I think that
definitely
that's
favorable. Yeah, it makes him sound good.
well, and yes, it does downplay any of the sins of the Spring Court.
Yeah,
And it also is like, it's brutal enough, but like, he's like, just her fucking little. I'm supposed to seduce her right now. I can't be telling her all of this fucking grotesque
yeah.
shit
Can't
and
get into the drama.
fucking family drama.
Yeah,
But and even from like a reader and writer standpoint, I think it's smart that like this is what we get here, and then when we get Rhys's side of it, you're like, oh fuck, that's way more
it's a little
intense. Like,
different.
that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah,
So, but I just was like, that's kind of rose-colored glasses a little bit for like the what we're getting here, which is also funny that it's
spring colored glasses.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, yeah, I definitely like on some level I think he obviously is not going to say the truth
Mhm.
because he probably deludes himself about it, but also because I don't know, I kind of also think he probably thinks women don't need to know the details, like type shit.
He's
And also maybe he
human.
just doesn't want to make it he doesn't want to answer questions about like the dynamics. Because if you say enemy court, it sounds like that's normal to have courts be enemies, and maybe they were more like enemies before ish, or they just weren't like there was allies and then there were like people you just didn't like but you didn't go attack them necessarily. Like maybe things were more hostile before the war because we don't
Yeah.
really see a lot of Prythian before that. I know we've talked a lot about like what was Prythian like during the 50 years or before, so I don't know. Yeah, but
I think part of it too is
doesn't
that
surprise
the
me.
purpose of him opening up is to kind of make her feel better about, or at least feel on level or relate to her. So I don't think it's about
Hmm.
him actually bearing anything. I think it's
Yeah.
about him giving her enough information to be like, no, I get what it means to have shit siblings who
Yes.
would not come after you, would not save you. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. Like, it sucks. So yeah, so I think he has to give her enough information for that to be like a moment of camaraderie and understanding and
Yeah.
connection without it being like, this isn't actually my story right now that I'm trying to share with you. I'm just trying to like give you enough so that I can tell you I relate.
Yeah. And then
Which
we get
actually
yeah.
might be a kindness, right? That he's not being a complete fucking narcissist about it and is being like, well, but my family and like he's, whatever. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
You could
do
definitely read it both ways.
I did find, I don't know, I mean, maybe it's nothing, but it says many of my father's courtiers defected to other courts rather than
Yeah.
have a warrior beast snarling at them. And now I'm like, well, now I want to know which one of these people was once in your court.
And
Like, could
also,
you
is that a
imagine
thing?
if,
Do
like,
people defect all the time? It seems like a crazy thing. I don't know.
not only that, but like, imagine for a second that Tarquin, right? Tarquin is not, he's the High Lord, right?
Yeah, 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 of summer.
Yes, who's the one that's banging Amrin? Yeah,
Viserys?
yeah, yeah.
No, Varian.
Varys? No, that's Game of Thrones. Jesus Christ, Sam. Anyways, that guy, right? So
The guy.
he is a summer courtier, right? Emissary person, whatever. Would
Yeah.
you imagine if like he was once in the spring court? He's just like,
Him
oh
and
yeah,
Braun were just on
yeah. It's
date
like,
duty
yeah,
together.
like we used to work for Tamlin's dad, and then Tamlin became the High Lord, and we were like, we are not fucking with that puss, so we're gonna go.
I think he's actually related to Tarquin. I think he's his cousin, so probably not. But I
We
was
give
wondering the
it
same thing. I was like, who the fuck is
Yeah,
who
who are
used
these?
to
Yeah,
be?
what's this deflecting stuff? Yeah, deflecting, whatever.
Yeah, and
Um,
I just thought it was interesting. I didn't realize that people could defect to other courts. Like, I'm like, I mean, I know Alice. I mean, okay, Alice came from the summer, but I didn't think she defected from summer. I thought
yeah,
people just move around and they just go places.
yeah,
Um, but maybe when you're like in the court, like when you're
yeah,
higher up, like if you're a
yeah.
court is it?
Well,
Like if you're a court
like
person, you're
Lucian defected,
yeah. So it's because you
cut
have
ties.
like a position in the
Well,
court, huh?
and the cutting of the ties, I think, is part of it, right? When you defect, it's like you're cutting it off, right? It's like expat completely. Like you're like,
Okay,
I am giving away my citizenship over there and any of my connections and my loyalty, and this is where I
okay.
am now. And yeah, I
So
think
you can like travel, but then yeah. So people
yeah.
intentionally were like, no, we're actually saying
Well, and I
fuck
think that
you.
it's a matter of loyalty, right? That like
Yeah.
no longer did they want to work for or be ruled by Tamlin, that they chose somebody else.
Makes you wonder, like, what did he do that made people think of him so like? Was it just prejudice, or was he like maybe he was always flying off the handle? Maybe he used to be worse about flying off the handle. Like, I don't know. And also, how do you not self reflect?
Yeah, a warrior beast snarling at them. You're still a fucking warrior beast snarling at people. Like, my
Yeah,
dude,
like
get a grip on your
I
fucking
don't
anger
know. It's the
management,
kind of
my
thing that makes
bro.
me go like, wow, half my people just left. Maybe I should think about how I treat people. Like,
Yeah, but I also feel like Tamlin is a little bit of like a victim
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
uh
yeah.
that he like he sort of absorbs the victim mentality in a
Yeah.
lot of things and doesn't necessarily take ownership for his own shit. always. I think
True.
that might be, I'm okay with like maybe that being part of the like Tamlin redemption arc, is that like he finally takes responsibility for some of his shit and like just says, hey, I should have done more and my bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of this, I think he sees himself as something that things happen to, and not that the events of his life are caused by him, I guess. Or that he
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily take credit for his role in his life, where it's bad shit happened to me. I didn't do anything to bring this on, kind of a thing. And
Mhm.
it can't be that, right? Like we all the shit that happens to people, not all the shit. There are horrific things that happen to
Yeah.
people, but oftentimes, right? Like the less crazy shit is like, yeah, no, but like sometimes you just make bad decisions, and like they could be small, minor decisions that could lead to other people, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sound like
Yeah.
an asshole right now, and I'm not trying to,
No, no, I get what you mean. I don't think you
but
sound
yeah,
like an
I
asshole.
don't think that there's any self-reflection happening, is what I'm getting at. He's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, people didn't want me and they don't like me, and so they all fucking left, and I'm still throwing fits because the West Wing was closed off because I threw a fit, and I got a crazy woman under a mountain who I don't want to deal with, so I'm avoiding her. And when you get mad, I avoid you, and when you piss me off, I will lose my shit on you too.
Mhm. Yeah, it is very
But that's not
Tamlin.
me. That's not my problem.
That's funny.
I don't
Do
know.
you think it was interesting that like the thing that she relates to him on is that they have like this beast nature?
Yeah, and that she's gonna be a high lady and have a beast form.
Well, that, but also like, the Beauty and the Beast thing, right? The whole thing is that like he's a beast and that's kind of like that's his curse, that's his problem, that's what makes him like like but like in this case it's almost like someone said, what if they're both the beast?
Yeah,
Or, like what if it's just two beasts? Like I don't know. it,
yeah.
it's interesting that she's not like nice pristine Belle. She's also a little bit of a beast herself, especially in the context of the entire series that we have so far, with her being a high lady, her even shape shifting and having other forms, and um her, what is that thing called, the mirror that she
Oh
looks in,
yeah,
she
yeah,
sees her, whatever you're supposed to see, like your true self or something,
yeah,
and she sees a crazy psycho beast, and I'm
yeah,
like, I don't know. I just think like there's something interesting that she's relating. The thing that draws her to him, that makes her feel connected to him, is that this beast. I don't know. Maybe
yeah.
it speaks to power, maybe whatever. But I just thought it was an interesting thing. Um, and it also has something about the next part. But did I interrupt you at all?
No, and I have nothing about the calumny stuff. I feel like, nah,
Oh no,
okay,
mine's
great.
before that. It's actually the next line.
What is it?
Then they're idiots. You've kept these lands protected from the blight. When it seems that others haven't fared so well, they're idiots. And then, but darkness flickered in Tamlin's eyes, and his shoulders seemed to curve inward ever so slightly. And then, I don't know. I just was wondering what that darkness is, and like, is it just him being like, oh, she thinks I'm so great and I'm not? Or is it like, is there something to her saying that? I just was
This,
wondering. Yeah.
I think that I think this is his reaction to knowing that that's a false statement. Whether it's anger or shame or
It's a
embarrassment,
guilt
I
or
don't
yeah.
know, or guilt or whatever, but I think that this is his reaction where she's like, they're idiots. You've done all you could, like,
Ew,
you've kept
I
these
can't take it.
You've kept these lands protected from the blight when others haven't fared so well. And his mind is, no, I actually brought the blight on, so let's not talk about that though. Because
Okay,
they would
true.
not be in this position
True.
at all had he not befriended Amarantha. Like, and I don't want to, again, I don't want to be a dick and just be like victim blame and whatever else, but
Mhm.
at the same time, like I could see him feeling like ashamed or guilty or angered when she's like, kind of like, could you imagine if you did something wrong and then someone's talking about how great you are and you're like, in your head, you're like, no, I fucked that up. And they're just like,
Yeah.
you did such an amazing job. You'd be like, can you please stop?
You're
Really?
like, you're making it what, yeah. Okay, so that
So
makes sense.
I think that that's part of that. I have
Um,
nothing highlighted on 178.
really?
Not a thing. Not a single
Here's
thing.
here's what okay. Now, this is crazy. I don't really think this, but we do have some nameless.
What?
We don't even remember the names of your gods. No, I don't think the gods are actually nameless, but it is interesting. I do.
Yeah.
This is a thing she harps back on about, is that the names of the gods are forgotten, and I'm like I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I am wondering like why. Anyway, so I just thought it was really interesting how she talks about the gods being forgotten. Because I'm just like that seems important, and I don't feel like we haven't heard enough about that. And also why are they like it doesn't seem like it lines up with like so like after the war they're like we don't do any fae stuff, but like
Yeah,
why specifically the gods? Because the gods aren't like fae gods. They're like maybe they're part of the structure, but I kind of want to know like were they used to like a was it like where they're like convert to our gods and or do they do horrific things to them on maybe Kalanmai was
I mean, I
originally
feel like it's
like
is it like a
abuse
pagan
humanites
monotheistic
or
sort
something.
of like undertone sort of thing, right? Like not monotheistic, but like right that the old ways and
Mm,
the fairy ways are polytheistic and pagan, right? And have all these weird rituals and whatever else.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, humans aren't going to be engaging in Kalimni, at least not in a real sense of it, that their magic is going to imbue the land, right? The way I would interpret it as someone who's part of a Jewish community and possibly trying to connect to the zeitgeist of Judaism and know that Sarah is within that space is that we don't worship the gods because you guys also worship the gods. And when we built that wall, or you built that wall, or whoever built the fucking wall, put it there and we separated, we said, we're not going to do what they do because we're not them. So we washed our hands of your gods.
Mm,
And even if it wasn't like
okay. I could
the
yeah.
gods are fae or not, it's just,
Yeah.
we don't want to be you. You enslaved us. We don't want to be you. So we're
Mhm.
not going to do anything that is you. We're not going to drink your wine. We're not going to believe in your gods, which is
Mhm.
very Jewish, by the way, because we're not supposed to drink wine that's given to us by non Jews. And we don't do any pagan shit because we were once slaves in
The
Egypt.
fae. Yeah.
Right?
But I just like I was just wondering like all those I can see that it's we don't want to be like them totally. I can see that. But I don't know, it just seemed
Also,
kind of oh, like I was just like I went like in a lot of directions like maybe they used to use their gods to do things that made them specifically cuz I don't know. They probably kept some traditions. I don't know.
anywho, all right, Attor.
Yeah, so okay, so he says can't come to Kalanai and she's like and
Her feelings
then
are all hurt. She's like, I thought we were friends.
yeah, and then in the middle of that, or before she can ask and before they can keep talking, Tamlin went rigid the moment we entered the gardens. He says, "Stay hidden, no matter what you overhear, don't come out."
The first thing that
And
Tamlin says to the Attor doesn't greet them first. Tamlin greets him and says, I know what day it
oh,
is. Like, you don't need to be here.
what day is it?
I think it's the
It's not the day.
no, but I think we find out later, but I think it was like it's not it can't be the deadline.
No, it can't be the deadline because they would take them right then.
Yeah.
Because they come and like storm the whole place the
Yeah.
second it's like
Yeah.
been 50 years. So maybe it's like a month before.
Maybe.
Maybe it's like I know what day it
It's
is.
his 30-day
I know
notice.
what day it is.
I feel like we know about it.
Yeah.
I feel like we find this out later what day it is.
Okay.
But yes, that's the
It's
first and
Amarantha's birthday.
but I also I'm right. But I also think that it's a way to get the Attor to leave without saying anything. Like this is him trying to like get him to shut up so that Feyre doesn't hear anything.
Okay, actually, I have a question. What if the Attor just spoke freely and he's not they can't say anything around Feyre. The curse actually keeps them from being able to say anything. So what if he had said something direct and then like it came out fucked up or it stopped him from saying and he goes, "Why can't I say that?
Mhm.
Who the fuck is here?"
Right?
Like or like is it just luck that he didn't say anything that was revealing or could he have said something and clued her in? Or how does that
I don't know.
because like if he tries to say something like you were supposed to get the human to fall in love with you and then he can't say it, he's gonna be like, why can't I say this? Sorry, I just thought of that and that
Yeah. Well, yes. I don't know. I mean, she's definitely glamored against seeing him, but she's not glamored against hearing him.
yeah. Or maybe the glamour is that's how it's broken. Like she's not supposed to be able to hear him, but no, he says no matter what you overhear. I don't know.
That or he knows like maybe it's only yeah, I don't know. There's some weird shit happening. But
But it's the it's not the glamour that keeps them from talking about it. It's actually the curse that keeps them from telling her that there is a curse and that she needs to fall in love with Tamlin.
Is it, or is it
Or the truth about
or
Amarantha.
did Tamlin put a gag order on everybody?
That's true.
Amarantha doesn't know about Feyre. She can't be like, "Don't tell the human about fucking the curse." She has nothing to put a gag order on. It's Tamlin's gag order.
I feel like Alice says, like, we couldn't tell you, we were forbidden or something.
Yes, but how does Amarantha tell someone not to tell someone that she doesn't know can't be told?
Maybe it was just part of the original curse, like, if you find somebody, you can't tell her shit or it doesn't work.
Maybe.
Um,
What I find interesting is that Amarantha knows that Andres went over the wall. Did you catch that?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You speak so ill
So
of
how does she know that?
well, I mean, she has spies everywhere, right? It says, with one word, she
I
can
think they
destroy
would
this pathetic estate. She does. She doesn't. She wasn't pleased when she heard of you dispatching your warriors, but as nothing came of it, she's chosen to ignore it. And then he growls.
Yes, nothing came of it. So yeah, I do wonder, why does she know about Andres and not about Feyre? Maybe Tamlin is just doing a better job
Yeah.
than we
Although
realize at concealing
I
her.
do like that I picked up so Lucian tells him to stay the hell out of the cave.
Yes, yeah.
Also, it says, and remember what will happen if she catches you trying to break the terms of he's not. Lucian's no. Now get out.
Break the terms of what?
Of yeah, right? I'm like, I don't remember what their terms were.
If she catches you trying to beat the curse?
Or
Maybe yeah, she's like,
ooh,
if
no,
I
no,
see
no,
you,
no, 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 no. Here's my
the
theory.
terms of,
Here's my theory.
okay.
The curse is that he has 50 years to get the human girl to fall in love with him, right? After that,
Mhm.
he's hers, right?
Right.
So he can't leave Prythian. You have 50 years. You can't leave Prythian.
Is that part of the
But that's what
curse?
I'm saying. Maybe it's part of the terms of the agreement.
Oh, maybe because he's trying to talk to
And
Hybern, and
and
she's like,
also
"Don't you do that."
that so like maybe she's like, well, is he going to try to flee to Hybern? Because
Mm.
that would be a thing. Or now that he's dispatching people over the wall, she's like, is he trying to flee to the human realm? Because there are queens there who have power.
But not in their strip of land.
No, but okay, so then it if
Oh, you mean like across the sea?
yeah, like maybe she
Oh,
thinks
okay.
like, remind that if what will happen if she catches you trying to break the terms of whatever. Like maybe that's Feyre's constantly talking about getting on a ship and going to the continent to get away from the blight. You think Tamlin hasn't thought of that?
Yeah,
Especially because
that's
the whole
interesting.
fucking area in the north of the continent, it still says fairyland, so it's not like he wouldn't be, there'd still be
Hmm.
magic. He doesn't have to live with humans. He could live in the fairylands on the
I guess he
continent.
hasn't done that because he's like the High Lord, so he's like,
Yes,
"What's he
but
supposed to
he
do?"
could
Yeah,
be the
but
king of Terrasen.
he could be the king of Terrace.
Yeah,
Uh,
you know?
holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. I'm sorry, I'm also trying to. I found it. You couldn't know it was part of Tamlin's curse. What was his curse? And then Tamlin and Amarantha knew each other before his family had long been tied to Hybern during the war. The Spring Court allied with
Wait, wait, hold
Hybern.
on, hold on, hold on, hold
His
on. They knew each other before his family had been tied to Hybern?
It says knew each other before M dash. His family had long been tied to Hybern during the war. The Supreme
Okay.
Court allied with Hybern to keep the humans
Okay.
enslaved. So no, that's
Yeah.
why they yeah. Okay. His father, who was fickle and a vicious lord, was very close to the king of Hybern, to Amarantha. Tamlin, as a child, often accompanied him on trips to Hybern, and he met Amarantha in the process. But it definitely seems like she maybe like kind of groomed him because she was
Yeah.
clearly an adult
Yeah.
and he was definitely a child.
Yeah.
Um, okay, he spat in her face and she laughed. She said he had 7 years before she claimed it, before he had to join her under the mountain. If he wanted to break her curse, he needed only find a human girl willing to marry him, but not any human girl, a human girl with ice in her heart, with hatred for our kind, a human girl willing to kill a fairy. Worse, the fairy she killed had to be one of his men sent across the wall like lambs to slaughter. The girl could only be brought here to be courted if she killed one of his men in an unprovoked attack, killed for him for hatred alone, just as Jurian had done to Clythia, so he could understand her sister's pain. What was I looking for? God damn it. It was something with, like,
It
how would
says, and a
she
reminder
could
of
he
what will
not
happen if
talk?
she catches you trying to break the terms of.
Yeah. Oh, then she bound us. She bound us.
Mhm.
Part of the curse. So we couldn't say a word about our world, about our fate. He couldn't tell you. None of us properly could. Okay. Okay. So it's. I still wonder if if the Attor had said something that mentioned the curse and
Mhm.
didn't, she would have been found out. The thing about break the treaty, yeah, I think that could be like, don't try to escape to Hybern. Don't try to
Mhm.
escape across the wall. Um, but I do think she would. Could he really hope to like escape? Like I feel like she
That
has all the High Lord's powers. She could certainly catch him.
or maybe she thinks that he dispatched one of his warriors over the wall to like kidnap a human to seduce her or
Mm.
whatever to fall in love with him as opposed to like the actual killing or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, it's
No, because the curse said she has to kill him with hate in her heart before,
yes, but
so that wouldn't work.
a reminder of what will happen if she catches you trying to break the terms of the curse. So, I mean, how is she going to
Mm,
prove? I mean, I don't know. I guess when you make a
because it's like
yeah,
magic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think part of it is that like the fleeing or siding with Hybern. Maybe they also have spies knowing that Lucian's been talking to Hybern.
Yep.
Yeah, she
Uh,
set them loose as gifts and reminder of what will happen if she catches you trying to break the terms of the agreement or terms of the curse. Because they're doing both. Because they're
yeah.
both sending warriors over the wall to try to get killed and have a favor situation and talking to Hybern about support. And so she's telling him, I would have been pissed knowing that you sent your warriors over the wall, but since nothing came of it, I'm just going to let it slide. But let me tell you, Lucian going over to Hybern talking to them, you bring your army against me, his army against me, and you will know let me remind you what will happen. And I'm going to remind you by sending all these bullshit gifts to you. More Lucian Hybern proof.
Yes. Yeah. Lucian says he is not.
Uh-huh.
I am, but he's not on my side because he's a stupid bitch.
Yeah, or just not
He's like bitter.
anymore, right? He's not.
Uh,
And that could also be part of it.
uh,
That's how he gets around it is by sending Lucian as his emissary to talk to Hybern and not going to Hybern himself. Because he's like, I'm not doing
yeah.
shit. I'm living my life trying to deal with my court. And my emissary's fucking, I don't know, trading human bones.
Also, the cave thing, it's not some common road for filth like you to travel through as they please. We know it's like a sacred mountain, but like,
No, I think this is
isn't it like a
no,
place to travel?
no, this is the cave that Alice tells her to go through that gets her directly to under the mountain. It's the portal cave.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
isn't that also a sacred mountain? Like, isn't that what's fucked up about like
probably.
the cave system that comes out of that mountain is like sacred.
Perhaps,
It's
but I
probably
think
sacred because it has
yeah,
magical cave.
but I think it's
Yeah.
also setting up that like when we're like, really, there's just a cave that goes straight there, and she could just fast travel like it's Skyrim. You're like, yeah, well, on page 180, we established that there was already a cave.
Okay, fair. Yeah. I was just like, isn't it a road like that people use to get at places? Like,
There's
yeah.
a lot of use of the word hell.
Burn in hell with two L's.
Uh huh. Also, right, stay the hell out of the cave. You're like, all right, maybe like, but this is a place. Capitalized 2 L's. Why would somebody who does like
Oversight.
really like do we know nothing of a fiery pits of hell in the pantheon of the cauldron.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Like
That
it
might just
makes
be like an oversight, but yeah.
uh just find it
I mean,
interesting.
I hate to default to that, but I do.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's like when people use like cuss words, like those are cuss words
Yeah.
from our world. They're not,
It's
but
like
like
every
it's
time
also
I want to have like my writing be like Jesus Christ. Well, I can't they can't say that in my world. There is
yeah.
no Jesus Christ. So I'm like, what it what do I need to world build to have a like, you know.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah, no, I thought it was interesting. Burn in hell in a world where we know nothing of an underworld that's fiery pits of hell.
Yeah.
But we
And I
do
think the
know
hell from Crescent City is Nordic hell, which is cold, right?
mhm.
I don't really have anything else about the Attor except for like, okay, we're here. Like it's, we get the Heart of Stone line, which we've already kind of talked about a good amount. Um,
I love that they immediately like are not are you okay or whatever. It was just what did you hear? Nothing. At least nothing I
yeah.
understood.
But, like, they were listening maybe they said more that we can't hear?
Mhm. Mhm.
But it doesn't seem like that. It
Okay,
seems like we hear the whole
but
thing.
here's the thing. What did you hear? Inside that hissing voice, I'd heard the screaming of human victims, the pleading of young maidens whose chest had been split open on sacrificial altars. Mentions of court, seemingly different from Tamlin's own. Was that she who had killed Tamlin's parents? A high lady, perhaps, in lieu of a lord? Okay, but regardless, inside that hissing voice, I heard screaming of human victims, pleading of young maidens whose chests had been split open on sacrificial altars. That's what she heard.
True. Like,
So just interesting
I
that like Lucian's like, what did you hear? Is he asking about like what did she hear in terms of the conversation, or is he wondering how much she could hear the nature of the Attor? I don't know. That was just very like, what the fuck? You heard what now?
I mean, yeah, on some level, it could be, like, pointing to things. On some level, it could just be like, "That's a creepy thing. His voice is so creepy, it makes you think of these terrible things,"
Yeah,
but
exactly. Or it's just like,
it is a weird thing to
that's a weird
say.
thing to
Like,
say.
and I would expect it more when it's happening. This is retroactively,
Yeah.
not like, and I would have if that's my line, I'm putting it when we first hear his story and say
Yeah.
that voice was like the screams, and you say was like, not was,
Yeah.
um, and then it's like, okay, that's creepy as hell.
Inside the hissing voice I heard. That's not a simile or a
Mhm.
metaphor.
If you don't say it's like it, then
Yeah,
it's
I
a
know it's a
metaphor.
simile, but,
Anyway,
like, it
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
feel like a metaphor, it feels like a factual statement is what I'm getting at. That's what
Yes.
I'm
Oh,
saying, is
okay,
that, like,
okay.
this doesn't feel like a metaphor, right?
Oh, yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and I think it's kind of it is like always going to be metaphorical as well, but
Sure.
for just like creepy, but it does, yeah. Sorry, it feels specific.
Yeah, I
Um,
get what it's saying, like, it's the stuff that fucking humans nightmares are made of, right? Like you
yeah.
can feel the evil and vile nature in its hissing. Great, cool.
And part of me doesn't want to overinterpret it, but also like that's kind of what we're here to do. But also, it does make me wonder what the Attor is. I mean, you've sort of theorized that it's those things from Throne of Glass, but like I don't know, the Attor. It seems like it's part of a large group, but then it also feels special.
Remember how I said I
Oh,
think the Attars are the things that are being bred?
yeah,
They're being
yes.
bred using witches. That Valg are impregnating the witches, and that when Alide goes downstairs and she sees what's happening, she
Hmm.
sees maidens whose chests or
Ah,
stomachs have been split open on sacrificial altars. It's the same thing.
that is some good evidence.
That's
We need to find that in Throne of Glass
I
and
will.
then put it
I
here.
will.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will. I
Um,
will make it happen. But yeah, I'm like maybe that's what that is.
Yeah, that is a really
That's my homework
interesting.
for this
Yeah,
week.
yeah, yeah,
That's my
okay.
homework for this week. But yeah,
Um,
I mean, like that's interesting that like that this creature is born of busting out of fucking maidens'
yeah.
chests on sacrifice that they're gonna die in childbirth. That's how those creatures
And
are
if
made.
that really lines up, then that is for sure a Feyre seeing some shit type beat.
Well, of course she
Um,
sees some shit because she renders a perfect image of the Attor later. So like we're like, oh, maybe she
yes,
sees through. Maybe she sees
the
through the glamour.
glamour.
No,
She
maybe
does.
she sees a lot more than we think.
Just the
Yeah.
appearance. Yeah. Yeah.
That could also be a case to be made that she and her sisters are descended from witches
No, that's what I mean.
because the witches are the ones who would have sacrificed themselves. So maybe it's that like the like sort of
Yeah.
genetic something, I don't know, human consciousness
Memory.
of
Yeah.
some witch consciousness of
Mm.
this experience of like the creation of the Attor as being from the sacrifice of
Their ancestors.
witch victims and the pleading of
Hmm.
young maidens whose chests had been slit open on sacrificial altars. Maybe that she's remembering like the, human consciousness, but with witches or whatever. I love
Yeah.
it. New theory.
Yeah, that is a good one actually. That's crazy. The last thing I had was just about like Lucian being so sure. Like Tamlin's like, yeah, he didn't see her, and he's like, okay. I don't know. I was wondering why Tamlin was so sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
It seems like a crazy thing to just be like, shut up. Like, what do you mean? No, go and figure it out. This is very important. Like it sounds like somebody just being delusional. Like, no, he didn't see her. Like,
Would you
what do
would
you?
you lose your shit if you found out that Tamlin could read minds? Sorry, your face is frozen, so I don't know what's going on in your world. Could you
Well, I was, like, paused. I was, like,
Yeah.
thinking, but that
We
yeah?
we because he never you know he would not share that information with Feyre. He would just fucking use that shit for forever. Or like or if
Would
there's
he maybe he's never told anyone.
but like if the Attor saw her, he didn't. Are you certain of it? It didn't. Well,
Yeah.
how do you know? Unless you be reading minds.
Like, he read the Attor's mind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That or yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it just seems weird. Like, it seems
That
so
or he
weird.
knows because the
It
Attor left and didn't try to I mean, maybe he was like, well, of course he
yeah.
didn't know because they know that I dispatched a warrior over the wall and said nothing came of it. And he
Mhm.
says, "What if you saw her?" He said it didn't. Well, because if he had seen her, he would know that something came of it. He probably would have said something. Although we know that that's not how that would have gone down. He wouldn't have said a fucking thing, and he would have
Yeah,
gone
and he
back
would
to
come back with, like,
Amarantha and been
50
like, yeah,
yeah.
and been like, "Hey, yeah, so weird, human on his land."
Yeah.
Also, he can't smell her.
Yeah! People are always talking about, "You got a stinky human body, what the fuck?" Like, people are always saying that, like, they notice her.
Yeah, that's because she was hiding in the roses. Yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, I think. But
Or Tamlin coulda glamoured
could
her
you
more, but
imagine if we get a fucking Tamlin redemption arc where like everything is just mind reading and he is Rhys's fucking son, and the reason why the starlight bullshit pool is there so that Rhys can remind him where he came from? I would lose my shit and I would sign out and then I would
I am
get back.
not here for Rhys is Tamlin's
I'm
dad.
not here for it either.
That's such bullshit. I'd rather, like, Helion be Lucian's dad and, like, their brother. Like, that's
Yeah, yeah,
better.
yeah,
'Cause
I'm okay with
yeah,
that. Yeah,
like,
no, that's wild. But
it's
no, I don't know. I just
crazy.
this is sus. And then like does he leave? So like it didn't. He growled over his shoulder, then looked at me, his face still pale, with fury, lips tight. I'll see you at dinner. Understanding a dismissal and craving the locked door of my bedroom, I trudged back to the house, contemplating who this she was, to make Tamlin and Lucian so nervous and to command that thing as her messenger. So we don't know what Tamlin does after this, right? He basically dismisses them, says, I'll see you at dinner,
Mhm.
tells him, go the fuck away. Does he go and
Yeah.
find out if that, like, does he go to the Attor? Does he, when we're like, go make sure? Maybe he does make sure.
Yeah.
Also, the spring breeze whispered that I didn't want to know.
Yes.
What the fuck does that mean?
Especially since guess what told her stuff earlier in this chapter? The spring breeze. And yeah, anyway, for a long time I thought that Lanthus was I looked this up today, but I thought Lanthus was the god of wind.
Okay.
Um, but actually the he has shape-shifting powers. So interesting, weird Tamlin link. But it's actually Meryl who's studying him who has wind powers.
Lanthus is who?
Oh, the guy in Silver Flames who Nesta
Yes, yes, yes,
accidentally
yes,
lets go.
yes.
Yeah, that's Lanthus.
Okay,
He's from the Wild Hunt, and I thought he had wind powers. Well, okay, so he kind of does. He can shapeshift into like the wind and the rain and elements.
okay.
Um, and Meryl is studying him. So I feel like he's gonna be a bigger thing in later books,
Mhm,
or something with like maybe because he's like, is he one of these nameless gods? I don't know. But anyway, I was just like, because of that, you're right. That's why I thought Atlantis was a wind god, was because he can turn into elements. But I think I was looking this up and someone said that Meryl, the lady, the mean
mhm.
librarian, she apparently maybe has wind powers herself and she's studying him. So when I read this book, I was looking for wind stuff, and that two things in this chapter, and I don't
Interesting.
really know how much it stands because technically Lanthus is shape shifting powers, not wind powers. But I'm still like, the spring breeze told you, broke your spell,
Mhm.
and told you don't ask questions. Two things in this chapter. It's weird, and
Yeah,
I don't know, but I don't. Anyway,
that or because she can't see the Fae, maybe there's I don't
it's her instincts, and she's
no,
just
no,
calling it
or
the
that
spring
there's
breeze.
something there that's like actually whispering in her ear and doing the thing, and she can't
Oh,
see it, so she's just like, and the breeze said not to look. Like, maybe it's fucking not the breeze. Maybe it's the spring breeze. Maybe it's the other members of the spring court that are living at the manor being like, stop asking questions. like like,
Yeah.
this is the Fae. It's the Fae that lives on this. She's like, "Oh, it's just me and Tamlin and Lucien and Alice and, like, 4 other bird mask people." And really, it's a whole fucking court of people that are there, and they're just like, "Stop." Like, she's constantly surrounded by people watching this drama unfold. Like, who else is in the courtyard when the Attor shows up, who are just, like, walking around fucking picking flowers to go put in vases up in the fucking gallery because Tamlin said, "Make the human woman fucking be happy." And so now they're just walking around and be like, creepy. And so then she's walking away. She's walking past them, and they're just like, don't move because she's not supposed to know we're here. And she's thinking out loud, and they're like, don't ask questions, human. Just go to your room.
That would kinda make more sense too, but I was just like, "What the f this wind this thing has to be a thing."
Sure, I'm okay with it being a thing.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know what it
but
is, and if it comes up if there's a book 1 breeze bullshit that comes up in book 6, I'd be like, "Well, I'm glad that we did a reread,
yeah,
because what the
yeah.
fuck?" But yeah,
Well, and, like, Meryl is, like, it's an untied thing that Meryl is studying the Wild
yeah.
Hunt and Lanthus and Meryl herself. I saw a theory today that she's, like, actually Mab from Throne of Glass. It's
Mhm.
it was sort of disproven in the thread, but yeah, it would be interesting to get there because I've only
Mab?
reread Silver Flames once.
Sorry, Mab?
You know, Maeve,
Maeve,
Mora,
sorry.
and Mab, those are the sisters in Throne of Glass, and people think that
Interesting.
Meryl is one of the but actually it was disproven in the thread, but people were just theorizing about her.
All right, so next week we will finally get to meet Rhys and see how that goes and get some Callum Nye action. So I will do my homework this week of looking up some Throne of Glass
Yes,
stuff, putting together some theories because I thought that that
I
was
need to
some we had
know.
some interesting things to talk about. And yeah, I will see you
Okay,
next week.
there we go. See ya.